Kimmel returns. I want to bet. I don't gamble, but it was a gentleman's bet. And I took the under. I took the under on when Jimmy Kimmel would be back on air. And, some people were speaking, it's going to be sometime. No way. And I'm like, no. He'll be back lickety split. Why do I bring this up? I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel's program. We did cover this last week on the program, and exactly what we pretty much told you happened. Jimmy Kimmel will he's basically, the story has become him. I watch the news. I mean, that's all anybody's talking about. Are you seeing many videos out there of, sure, you got a little bit from the Charlie Kirk Memorial Service this past weekend, but not the points that Charlie made on various different campuses around the country, debating people, all of that stuff, which could be out and about. No, it's all about Kimmel. It's all about Disney. It's all about Bob Iger. It's all about celebrities upset about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. We told you this was a colossal own goal, self-inflicted wound by the Trump administration. Brendan Carr screwed up royally. Jimmy Kimmel would have censored himself. Not censored, wrong word. He would have canceled himself simply by his words. You didn't have to do a thing. He actually had a few senators. You had Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Dave McCormick actually going after Carr, using his position to steer editorial decisions of private companies. And again, it's a serious breach of free speech principles. 1962. This is from Reason Today. This is what happens when the various different acronym agencies out there, they talk about, their duty to promote the public interest on television. Now, I want everybody to think about that for a second. This is part of the problem. What is public interest? One could argue, let's say after September 11th, 2001, it would be in the public interest, this is according to some government official, that we would stifle any sort of dissent when it came to the actions of the government and what they wanted to do, whether, it would be bomb Afghanistan from the Stone Age to the Stone Age, or, eventually let's just go blow up the Middle East. Right? That's, again, it's up to the FCC. The FCC is under what branch of government? The executive branch of government. So in essence, the FCC, the public interest, aligns with the party that is in power as far as the executive branch of government is concerned. That's a problem. That's a big problem. And this is something that libertarians have been warning about some time. Broad interpretations of various different diktats from acronym agencies or even Congress themselves. 1962, Ayn Rand penned a warning about the public interest standard, which then FCC chair Newton Minow was citing as justification for pressuring television companies to create more educational programming. Minow famously railed against the supposedly vast wasteland of shoddy television shows and claimed that the FCC's charter empowered him to push for editorial changes to the medium that would align with his view of the public interest. Again, his view. Using this same exact standard. To say Joe Biden's president or Kamala Harris, whoever it may be, and it's their view that the public interest would serve in pushing a green agenda. Anyway, Rand states, you must provide a wider range of choices, more diversity, more, I'm sorry, excuse me, I'm wrong. That's what Minnow said. You must provide a wider range of choices, more diversity, more alternatives. It's not enough to cater to the nation's whims. You must also serve the nation's needs. Minnow repeatedly claimed that he was not in favor of government censorship, and he was not trying to tell broadcasters what they could and could not say. Rather, he charged them to make nebulous and ill-defined improvements to the product that he believed would be better appreciated by the American public, the public interest. Again, you want to go run a network, go run a frickin' network. That's not your job at the FCC. Rand's essay, Have Gun, Will Nudge, was published in the Objectivist newsletter. Makes clear her disdain, not just for abject censorship, but also for reality in which the FCC chair makes vague statements regarding the actions that private actors should or should not take. It is true, as Mr. Minnow assures us, that he does not propose to establish censorship. What he proposes is much worse. Censorship, she writes, in its old-fashioned meaning, is a government edict that forbids the discussion of some specific subjects or ideas, such, for instance, as sex, religion, or criticism of government officials. An edict enforced by the government's scrutiny of all forms of communication prior to their public release. But for stifling the freedom of men's minds, the modern method is much more potent. It rests on the power of non-objective law. It neither forbids nor permits anything. It never defines or specifies. It merely delivers men's lives, fortunes, careers, ambitions into the arbitrary power of a bureaucrat who can reward or punish at whim. It spares the bureaucrat the troublesome necessity of committing himself to rigid rules, and it places upon the victims the burden of discovering how to please him or her with a fluid, unknowable as their only guide. Again, the column goes on, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong. And sure enough, where are we at today? Again, I don't know, one of the networks, I guess Sinclair, they're not, and their affiliates, they're saying they're not going to run Jimmy Kimmel. Make no bones about it. His YouTubes will be blowing up. His YouTubes will be blowing up. I think I said it last week on the program. If someone is burying themselves with utter stupidity and lies, why would you step in and stop them? Just asking. WatchDog on wallstreet.com.